Cindy Crawford has a doppelganger daughter who's following a surprisingly similar path in life. Alongside the likes of Naomi Campbell and Christy Turlington, Cindy Crawford helped to usher in the new wave of the supermodel. You couldn't pass a magazine stand in the 90s without seeing her famous beauty mark. And it looks like modeling runs in the family. It turns out the glamorous star's daughter has not only inherited her striking looks, but she's also following in her catwalk footsteps. You may remember that Cindy was once married to an officer and a gentleman star Richard Gere for 4 years. But she only became a mother after walking down the aisle with Randy Gerber, a nightclub entrepreneur, in 1998. The first of their 2 children, son Presley, arrived a year later, while daughter Kaia was welcomed into the world in 2001. Before graduating from Malibu High School, Presley had intended to further his education by studying business at college. But at the age of 16, he got the modeling bug and began to focus on carving a career in its crazy world. Presley subsequently landed a contract with IMG Models and DNA Model Management. Presley's most high-profile gig came in 2019 when he was appointed to be a brand ambassador for 20. This was the app launched by Arianna Huffington, the Greek-American businesswoman most famed for founding website HuffPost. Under the guise of Prezi, the celeb offspring has also formed a hip-hop duo with Shwayze named Fairy God Bros. And Presley already appears to have developed a wild child reputation too. Charlotte D'Alessio, Cameron Roberson and Sydney Brooke are just a few of the models whose names appeared alongside his in the gossip pages during his teenage years. Much to his parents' dismay, Presley then had the word "misunderstood" inked on his face in 2020. Shortly after the youngster received the ink, an insider allegedly told Us Weekly magazine, "Presley is obviously going through a super rebellious phase right now. He is trying to get out of the shadow of his family and find his own way and create his own identity. There's a lot of pressure on him because his parents and Kaia are so successful. He wants to do his own thing and find his own place in the world." Presley may like to think of himself as a rebel, but he still resides at the Malibu guest house owned by his famous parents. And he's often required to help out in the kitchen at Café Habana, the Cuban eatery run by his father. Back in 2016, Presley had told magazine Vogue Paris that he wanted to see whether he could fill Randy's shoes by opening up his own New York bar. So how did Presley's parents meet? Well, they first brushed shoulders at the wedding of Cindy's agent when they were both already attached. In 2015, the supermodel told Harper's Bazaar magazine, "I was still with Richard Gere, and he didn't want to go to the wedding with me. Randy also had a girlfriend at the time, so he wasn't looking to meet anyone either, and that's the best time to meet someone because that's when you're truly yourselves." The pair subsequently developed a friendship, and when their respective relationships broke down, they decided to pursue things on a more romantic level. Cindy once told TV show and podcast Oprah's Master Class, "Being rooted and based in friendship, it keeps the relationship elevated. There's always a certain level of respect." Cindy and Randy walked down the aisle together in 1998 in the Bahamas. And as you'd expect, it was a glamorous affair. The supermodel told Style Bible CR Fashion Book 20 years later, "I wore John Galliano off the rack. I couldn't shop for wedding dresses because we wanted to keep the wedding a secret. So I told a stylist friend we were going to a white party on the beach." In 2010, Cindy told British newspaper The Daily Mirror that she and Randy have differing approaches when it comes to their marriage. She said, "We're not people who talk 20 times a day, but I need to check in more than Randy does. I'm the woman, the more emotional one. He'd be happy to never talk about the relationship again. Randy's philosophy is, if everything's good, why talk about it, and if it's bad, why talk about it?" Randy might not exactly be the world's best communicator, but he still makes quality time with his supermodel wife a priority. In 2017, Cindy told People magazine, "All throughout our marriage, we have made time to just be together, whether it's a walk on the beach or a weekend away." But Cindy admits that they sometimes have to work hard to keep that spark alive. In 2010, she told the Daily Mirror, "If you just wait for the moment to strike, you're going to have some dry spells. Sometimes you have to grease the wheels a little. You just need to make it a priority and say, tonight is going to be the night. If you're not in the mood, it's easy enough to get into the mood." Of course, those dry spells likely became more frequent when the pair became parents. But whom do Kaia and Presley take after? Cindy added, "My son is more like Randy, and my daughter's definitely more me. She likes school, and she cares. My son is more like my husband. School is something to be tolerated for the PE, break time and his friends." That same year Cindy told British newspaper Daily Record that motherhood had changed her in a profound way. She said, "As a mother, I always have something better to be doing. I love work still, but I'm less tolerant of my time being wasted. My sister has kids, and she always told me how, when you're a mother, you don't have to ask what your priorities are all the time because you're looking at them." That's really true. T's little surprise that Kaia has been able to forge a career in the modeling world. She possesses the same striking facial features as her mother did when first appearing on the cover of Vogue way back in 1985. Including those famous cheekbones. In fact, the pair look more like twin sisters than mother and daughter.